That's the thing about life. It can be unpredictable, but your dreams need not be. How far would you go to make your dreams come true? How close are you to reaching those goals set by you? While others focus on a new normal, you focus on a new beginning. Look around for what inspires you. Build your narrative. After all, it's your story to tell. Take a chance. Take a leap. Begin your study abroad journey with us.
Looking for the right course for you? Welcome to aecc Global's Course Search, your one-stop platform for all your international education needs. Browse through millions of free, valuable study abroad resources to pursue your international study dream. To begin your search, type in your preferred course in the search bar. Filter by sub-course category, level of study, destination preference, tuition fees, duration, and post-study work visa. With a destination drop-down, you can search for the preferred destinations of your choice. You can also filter down courses by top-ranked universities in your preferred destination and their rankings. Browse through various career choices, and you can also browse through free student resources like articles on tips to study abroad, the latest news, etc. We are here to support you with every step of your study abroad journey. To explore your course options, visit search.aeccglobal.com.
Selamat siang semuanya. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to aecc Global Webinar siang ini. Mungkin lagi lunch time atau mungkin sedang break time. Well, anyway, sejam ke depan kita akan dengerin presentasi dan informasi mengenai study in Germany, especially the University of Europe for Applied Science. And today we are honored to have Ivan. Hi, Ivan. How are you?
Hi, Anela. Hi, everyone. I'm doing very good. Thank you.
Yeah, so Ivan is the Business Development Executive from University of Europe for Applied Science. And in the end of the session, kalau misalnya you have any questions, please feel free to drop it in the Q&A box so we can answer all your questions in the end of the session. And after the session, if you like to have one-on-one session with Ivan, discuss your study plan, your case, your aspiration to study in Germany, let us know. Mungkin di chat box bisa di bilang aja kalau misalnya mau arrange one-on-one. We will set the schedule for you right after this webinar. So I think, Ivan, without further ado, I think let's just hear more about what you have to offer.
For sure. That'd be great. Thank you so much, Ronella, for the warm introductory. Of course, I'm very happy to be always sharing any relative information with regards to exciting opportunities and what's in place for aspiring students who are here to continue their studies abroad, particularly over in Germany. So as shared by Ronella and the team as well, I am part of a German university. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to share briefly with regards about the university and also at the same time on the opportunities, advantages, and the emerging kinds of aspirations which are probably available for students to actually acquire over in Germany as well. So without further ado, I'd just like to share my screen over. So I hope the team can see my screen. Is the screen presentable over on the...
All good, Ivan.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. So the university I am with, it's called the University of Europe for Applied Sciences. It is a fantastic university where we have been around for well over 20 years over in Germany. So ideally speaking, we are a university which has about 4 campuses currently residing in 4 cities across Germany. So what's interesting about Germany is that it is growing as a study destination for international students. We have been seeing a number of inquiries and demands coming in from all across the world, actually, and particularly in our region. For instance, over in Indonesia, the country itself is becoming a very interesting kind of study destination for students to come over and to actually get a really good education, at the same time enjoy their experience as an international students over there. So because of this, we have seen on the certain locations where students would prefer to study over in Germany. And amongst all the locations, we have seen that there are a number of international students who are interested to study in certain cities such as over in Berlin, Hamburg, and also there's a city called Potsdam. So this is where we are based in. So we have our campuses respectively over in Berlin, Hamburg, and also about 25 minutes away from Berlin, we are based in the city called Potsdam. We have our latest campus over there. We call it Innovation Hub. The reason we call it the Innovation Hub is because it is equipped with the latest facilities, and at the same time, it is right at the center of a number of IT organizations all across, a number of startups all across as well. So the city itself is constantly like it is known to be like one of the Silicon Valleys over in Europe, essentially. So that's where we are based at, because we want to ensure the students get the opportunity to not just study with us, but also get exposure for their near future career aspirations as well. And also at the same time, Germany, we all know it's a country where it has one of the biggest kinds of economy kind of happenings and occurrences going on over. It is the biggest economy in terms of GDP over in Europe. So one of the important cities in which contributes to the economy is the city called Iserlohn. So it's a mid-sized city. It's a beautiful city for you to see the laid-back culture of Germans. But we are located over there, but it's an important contributor to the manufacturing side when it comes to the economy over in Germany. So this is why we are located over here, not just to offer really good education, but also to offer all the other opportunities outside of the classroom as well. So over in Germany right now, right, we are seeing a trend whereby, again, more and more international students are coming in over. And this is good news because in the near future, you will be seeing more of nationalities from different countries itself coming in. And this is something which we have experienced and are seeing over at UE Germany. Why is that? It's because right now we actually have about 104 nationalities from all over the world coming to study over in UE Germany. We do have Indonesian students with us. So these students, they ideally are conducting either their undergraduate or their postgraduates with us. So we are super happy. We are very excited to see that our diversity has broadened up, has increased throughout these past few years. And we are actually looking forward to welcome more and more students from all across the world, especially Indonesian students as well. So in this case, in order to ensure that we are very much connected globally and we are very much providing all the relative opportunities for students when it comes to study abroad, summer abroad, exchange programs, summer internships, and so forth, we work with a number of associations, organizations, and also institutes globally. So as of now, we have well over 60 partners globally. We work with about 150 organizations. That's for the usual workshops and career kinds of events. And at the same time, right now, right after this our winter intake, ideally, we are right now at about 4,600 over students. We offer programs in the field of foundation, undergraduate, and postgraduate. Right now, we have about 46 programs, which are taught mostly over in English, and some are taught in German as well, up to the student to select. These are supported by 80 over professors and also 200 staffs as well. So we have these number of personnel and all these professionals over at the university to ensure that at least the students will feel welcome at home and also supported throughout their higher education journey. So this is interesting because we have seen that because of the relative support given, and at the same time, because of a quality programs offered, and because of the certification in which we provide, which are equivalent to like a world-class education, we can see that what they're doing right now is something where it actually adds further value to a student's journey in the higher education space, and also adds more value when it comes to searching for a career once they graduate or before they graduate as well. So this is something we have been doing for quite some time. That has been our entire objective, not just to offer a really good education, but also to provide them the opportunity to get a solid job. So because of this, we ensure that our programs are accredited by the right bodies, the professional associations, and also several other educational kinds of affiliations, so that when students were to get the certification, they open doors for more companies to actually come to them and recruit them. That is something in which we have been doing for quite some time. And because of this, we have been receiving quite a number of awards as well coming in. So in this case, we are considered like one of the top universities when it comes to our business studies, one of the top universities when it comes to supporting students throughout their higher education programs during the semester basis or throughout the duration of the program and so forth, and also many other awarding bodies as well. So these are just some of the awards which are highlighted presently. What this means again shows that perhaps UE is doing something relevant and something right. So we want to ensure that we can provide the best for our students. This is why every semester we are seeing what can we actually do further to actually accommodate to the students, what can we support even further for students to exceed in their studies, and also what can we do to ensure that they have the right relevant experience while studying over in Germany itself. So what's exciting about Germany is that right now we have about over 500 international students which are studying in the country itself. It will definitely grow on a gradual basis because unlike traditional markets, Germany as a study destination is growing itself. So it's part of the non-traditional markets in the European sector, whereby it will grow gradually on a 5 to 10% annual basis. So we are the country itself is looking to see about 600,000 to 700,000 international students in total in the next 2 to 3 years. So it's gradually growing, and there are many reasons to why the country is very interesting for students to come in and to study. I will share that later on. But first, just to share with you, in total, there's about 500 over universities in Germany, and you have majority of those are in the public sector, and then you have the private side as well. So you have research universities, and you also have applied science universities. So UE Germany, ideally, it stands for, again, University of Europe for Applied Sciences. So what it means is that research universities, they focus majority of the time in the theory aspect. So it's all about the books. Whereas over in applied science universities, such as UE, we ensure that you get the practical skills and knowledge as well in the education itself. So meaning, whatever you learn in the class, it has to be practiced outside of the classroom. So this is where you have internships coming in, you have case studies, activities, workshops, projects, and so forth. So these are all integrated within the programs itself, so that when you were to graduate, or even before you graduate, you attract organizations who would like to actually get fresh graduates who has the skills and knowledge already before they graduate. So this is something which we have seen. About 94% of our students actually want to get a full-time job within 12 months after they graduate. 50% of them would actually get a full-time job, meaning a full-time job offer 3 months before they graduate. So this is something where we are very happy about. We want to actually ensure that we can increase the percentage. And the reason behind this, again, is that as an applied science university, it's about like academics and also practicality. And also we work a lot with organizations out there. So since we work a lot with organizations out there, such as Google, Tesla, Amazon, Volkswagen, banking companies, pharmaceutical companies, and so forth, these organizations are ideally interested to actually recruit fellow students from applied science universities such as UE to join them. And on a weekly basis, there at least you have about 1 workshop going on. So like 1 workshop where organizations from the top management were to come in to the university to do talks. And you also work with some organizations where there are certain projects that needs to be done. So the students are involved. There are also internship opportunities which are in place as well. So because of this, it provides at least the advantage for the students to get something solid or to get plentiful of offers, opportunities prior to graduating. So that's one of the key advantages and reasonings to why students are ideally selecting UE. Coming within the country itself, you have a lot of attractive kinds of advantages and a lot of opportunities where you can take advantage of once you have finished or completed your program. One of the key reasons why it's interesting is that once you have actually completed your program over in Germany, you have the opportunity to live in the country for an additional 1.5 years. So we're talking about 18 months post-study work visa. So it's an option where you can actually still stay in the country if you have the goal or the objective to work over there and perhaps move forward with a PR. That is if you would like to. And being part of the top 5 world economy, right? You have so many organizations which are from Germany, so many opportunities which are growing and emerging, and the country itself are actually sourcing out for more and more professionals to come into the country to actually work in the relative industry. The reason being is because Germany is actually an aging market. So by 2030, 2025, the majority of them will be about 60 over above and so forth. So because of trend of the aging market, this is where you need more and more younger workforce to come in. So this is ideally like economy 101. So the younger forces will need to come in order to manage the day-to-day ends of the country itself, to run the economy itself. So of course, engineering is absolutely popular. It's like the #1 thing over in Germany. But what's interesting is that the other emerging trends, such as software engineering, data analysis, the IT sector is really booming, and they really need more and more professionals to come in. So that is why the country is pretty much open for students to apply to study over in the country or to work in the country for that matter. So other than that, students also have the opportunity to work part-time. And what's interesting is that on average, you are able to work about 20 hours a week, but this is dependent between who you work for. You can have your arrangements with them. And again, I shared earlier, it's home to one of the biggest companies all across. You have many organizations everywhere, ideally. So again, it creates the opportunity for you to capture something when you finish your studies or while you're studying. And interestingly enough, it has a low living cost in comparison to other traditional markets. So for instance, over the UK, it's about 30 to 40% higher to live over there, whereas over in Germany, it's much more affordable to live over. So because of this, international students find it like, wow, like you can save a lot, and then the tuition fees is very reasonable. It's much more affordable to other countries. So this is where you can see the attractiveness of pulling more international students to come into the country. And you do not need to worry about health and safety over there because it has the best system over in Europe itself, or one of the best systems over in the world. So students they feel very safe, they feel very accommodated. So there's no security kinds of issues and so forth. Everything over there is very systematic. They are very serious in terms of ensuring the safety of not just their people, but not just the nationalities, but also the citizens, but also the international students which are studying over there as well. So these are just, again, some of the reasonings to why Germany is attractive and is growing. Coming from an international student experience, you can see that, of course, you do save in terms of the affordability, because on a monthly basis, if you were to cook, right, to be honest, with 50 euros a week, you can actually settle like, or even 1.5 weeks to 2 weeks as well, you can actually settle your groceries. So, of course, just like every other country, the cost will be higher if you were to eat outside or if you invest in more entertainment, right? So that's the usual thing, I mean, all across globally. But over in Germany, what's interesting is that less than about 800 euros on a monthly basis, you can actually sustain yourself comfortably on a monthly basis. So you don't just actually meet people from all over the world, from different cultures, different places. You actually are able to enjoy whatever that's offered within the country itself. Meaning, almost every week, they have a lot of these festivities going on. And you enjoy all these festivities because they're traditional kinds of things which are done over in Germany. You enjoy the country, you enjoy the culture. So it's like a fantastic exposure for you to see. And again, you meet friends from all over the world and you study in really, really good universities, because Germany, again, what's interesting is that they are very serious about everything practically. And when it comes to higher education, they are really serious. This is where UE as well, we need to ensure that we offer like the best kinds of world-class education so that the students were able to actually get something quality other than, you know, unfortunately conventional universities out there in different respective countries and so forth. So in a way, we will ensure that the students will get the full-on, hands-on quality education and the relative support to ensure that student becomes a success. Students also in their free time, they can conduct they can join in a number of curriculum activities, they can join in workshops, and also they can work part-time as well. So working part-time, ideally, you would usually get like an hourly pay of 8 to 14 euros around that per hour. So that is competitively good, because if you can see, if you do the maths, you actually can sustain yourself with your hourly, with your part-time job as well. So this is something good for international students. This is why it's growing, it's becoming more attractive over. And the transportation over in Germany is absolutely fantastic. Most of them will cycle over here and there. The reason, because the weather is also not as hot, not as humid as over on our end. Because of that, the road systems are very systematic. You don't see a lot of cars around. Most of them will actually use the bicycle to actually travel up and about. And you also have trams, trains, buses, the public transports over there, which are really, really good and really on time as well. So it's so systematic. It's super easy to actually get in, to go from one place to another. So if you live even about half an hour away from the campus, or even 1 hour away from the campus, for an example, you still can go to the campus on time, provided that you live, you know, respectively half an hour or 1 hour before. So it's all on time. You do not have to worry about delays and so forth. So students usually on a semester basis, they will acquire a semester ticket. So it means that they can use the semester ticket to travel all across the country itself, or travel wherever they want to go to. So traveling, do not have to worry. The lodging as well, the place to stay, you have hostels, you have dorms, you have a flat, you have apartments, or even houses as well, if you know people living in Germany. So you have all these accommodations at place. And again, relatively speaking, it is very safe over there to study and also to enjoy the culture. Right? So focusing over at UE itself, right? Of course, again, there are plentiful of programs which are offered over in Germany, all across. And over at UE, we focus on our foundation year, bachelor's and our master's program. So we focus in the fields of business, arts and design, tech and data, and sports and event management. So these are our focal points, and these are our advantage. And these are the relevant popularity programs which are offered over at UE. Right? So let me just share with you briefly about how the education system over in Germany works. So over in Indonesia, right, once we finish our high school, sekolah menengah atas, we graduate at year 12. So meaning that when we are about 18 years old, we graduate with the year 12 qualification. So this is standard usually in many of the countries, but over in Germany, when they graduate their high school, they finish at 13th year. So since they finish at 13th year, then they are qualified to enroll into a university, a public university. So that's why for international students who are interested to study over in public university over in Germany, they require a 13-year qualification. With a 12-year qualification, they cannot enroll into the university itself. So because of this, we understand that is the gap over there. There is 1 year kind of education that needs to be added. There's a 13-year qualification that needs to need to be attained for that matter. So in this case, we provide the foundation program called the Studienkolleg. So it's a 9-month program whereby it prepares the student to qualify them to enroll into the public university. So in the program itself, you have a final examination. You would need to pass the examination in order to enroll into this public university of your choices. So we are there to accommodate to this need as well. But ideally speaking, University Europe for Applied Sciences, because we are private state and we are considerably like one of the few unique universities in Germany, for the matter, to be honest, right? We can actually accept students with a year 12 qualification to directly enroll into our bachelor's program. So you do not need a 13-year qualification. 13-year qualification is only for public universities, whereas private sector, the universities over in Germany, of course, there are some where they require a year 13, but since UE is a little bit unique because we are state accredited and we are relatively involved in many associations and all, we can actually provide you the opportunity to join our bachelor's program with the year 12 qualification. So with the year 12 qualification, you can enroll into our respective programs over in the fields of business, arts and design, sports and event management, also IT as well. These are some of the programs which are seen. These are the popular ones which are practically available. In the business end, usually we have students directly from Indonesia itself choosing business management studies, software engineering, and digital business and data sciences. So these are like the top 3 programs which we have seen like a trend from students coming from Indonesia to study with us. Also in our arts field as well, you have communication design, game design, and also UI UX design. Again, these are some of the applications we have received. We have received a couple of students as well in the artistic step for these programs. And you have all the other relevant programs which can be seen over here in the marketing end and also a little bit of sports and media, sports and event management too, if you're interested in these kinds of programs. All of these programs are 3 years. Again, entry requirement with the year 12 qualification, you are able to enroll into the programs. And there's only one program which is 4 years because it's a dual program, meaning it's a partnership between UE Germany and also a college called Alba Berlin. These are specifically for students who really love basketball and they like to join that program. Then they can opt for the dual sports and event management. So these are the respective programs which are offered. One of the most popular programs in our bachelor's field in the arts and design is actually our photography, because a lot of students, particularly from European sectors outside of Germany, in European countries, they will usually come over to UE to study photography because the photography programs are taught by well-renowned professors and they are considered like so-called popular professors, not just in Europe, but also globally as well. So because of this, they are very interested, they find it very interesting to study with us in the fields of photography and also film and motion design as well, right? So what's interesting, the structure in our bachelor's program is that, again, we teach practicality skills and knowledge. So it's not just very academic. You will be heavily involved in case studies and projects. So in addition to that, students will need to undergo internships as well. Do not worry about internships. Yes, it's the responsibility of the students to actually secure their internship on their own, but at the same time, we have our student support center and also a career center to help the students to secure something. That's what we do. And moving forward to our postgraduates, and what's interesting is that we have been seeing a well-diverse, meaning a lot of students coming from different backgrounds, coming into UE to study fields in IT, fields in arts and designs, fields in business, and also a field even in sports and event management as well. So we understand this because there are some students where they already have the wealth of knowledge in their bachelor's. Like for example, they have a bachelor in business. They like to study software engineering. It is possible. You just have to go through the pre-master's program only. That's about it. So we are seeing this trend. At the same time, we are seeing also students where they want to actually study in their field. Arts and design student background, they want to pursue their postgraduate in arts and design. So we have all of these respective programs in place. One key unique program in which it's offered by UE is on our MBA side. So the MBA program, it's a one-year program over at UE. You don't get to hear one-year MBA programs, particularly over in Germany, because ideally most of it is 2 years, or maximum, or minimum of 1.5 years, for instance. So UE offers a one-year MBA program, and the advantage is that you can come from different backgrounds. Anywhere else, without going through a pre-master's program, you can join in the MBA program itself. All we require is you to have at least 1 year working experience after you graduate, and then you can join the MBA program, and you can get a master's program from a German university, which carries huge value in the market space itself. So other than that, again, as shared earlier, right, Germany is truly looking for professionals in the IT sector. So this is where data science, software engineering comes in. And because AI, virtual reality, augmented reality, all of these things are coming up. And with the installation and the implementation of industry, not just industry 4.0, but also 5G up and coming, right, is actually opening up a lot of opportunities in place in the online side. So this is where cybersecurity or probably anything relevant to the IT side are required. So we have less demand. I mean, we have a lot of demand for these programs, or we have a lot of demand for these professionals kinds of people to come in to work over in Germany. But the thing is, you have less people coming in because, again, a lot of people are not in from that background. So this is why I personally also I like to encourage students that if at all they come from the IT sector, or if at all they were interested in IT side, but they did a different program in their bachelor's, I would encourage them to take either data science or software engineering, personally, because it really opens up a lot of opportunities for them, not just in Germany, but also globally as well. So these are just the programs which are offered. Business fields, if you want to continue, you can also opt for corporate management or finance and management, if at all you would like to learn more about the financial sector side. And also the arts and design field, we have creative computing, innovation design management, visual experience design, media spaces, and photography as well. So what's interesting amongst this arts and design program is that we have our innovation design management program, which is practically a 1 year program, 1.5 years, again, depending on your bachelor's background. A lot of arts and design students, particularly which I see coming from the architecture side, they would actually opt for this because he teaches business, IT, and also arts and design kinds of subjects. So it's a very unique and very interesting program in which it's offered for students over at UE who like to come over. And the postgraduate programs, it will be more open and be more exposed to many workshops and many kinds of company training in comparison to the bachelor's program. Because again, the postgraduate is all about preparing the students to succeed in their career, preparing the students to actually do a really good job in their respective organizations in which they are going to work later on. So of course, Germany itself, they do offer a plentiful scholarships, and over at UE, we do offer scholarships up to 30% of our respective programs. This is dependent on the grades, but if at all you have grades which does not meet that, do not worry. We also have other forms of opportunities for you to get those partial scholarships later on. So like, for example, if you do really well in your program, we can provide you additional scholarships, but that is when or while you are doing the program itself over at UE. But entirely speaking, if the grades are there, you can get at least up to 30%. At the same time, Germany itself, they are very kind when it comes to the scholarships offering. So they have a lot of private scholarship providers and public scholarship providers. So the private scholarship providers, they can actually offer like partial scholarships for your programs or monthly basis allowances, or like they can actually take care of the entire semester fee. Public scholarships as well available. It's just that, again, for the universities, and they cannot actually apply on the student's behalf. Student will need to do on their behalf. Student will need to apply for it. And then at the same time as well, if you get it, that's fantastic, because again, there's so many kinds of these scholarships which are practically available for students to take advantage of, to register, to apply for it, and to get. It's just that it's a little bit competitive because there are many students globally which are opting for the scholarship. So we encourage our students to actually go for it, but do not worry if at all one or two scholarships are rejected. There are still others as well in which we can apply for. Not to worry on that. So yes, so we are super proud, we are super happy, and we are super excited to actually share all these programs to students or aspiring students who would like to come over to a fantastic country and get a really good education so that they can actually get really good job opportunities later on. This is where our commitment to the student comes in. So we ensure that all the professors that teaches the program or teaches any of our courses and so forth, right? They need to at least have 15 to 20 years working experience, or they are actually quite prominent, meaning they're quite popular in the industry. So one of the most important thing over the university is that when you invest your tuition fee, right? The reason you invest your tuition fee is not to just get the value of a certificate, but to get the experience of the professors in class itself. That is very important, because once you get their knowledge as well, you can use that to open up doors for you later on. So this is why, again, Germany is very serious in the higher education. So as UE, we ensure our professors have the relevant industry experience. Of course, the usual class would be like a lot of talking, a lot of interaction, a lot of case studies, a lot of projects and exposures. We are constantly one of the top universities again over in Germany, so to speak, in our respective fields. And again, the advantage we have is that you do not need a 13th year to enroll into our program. With a 12th year, right after you finish your sekolah menengah atas, you can just join in. For the master's program, you just need a bachelor's degree, then you can join in. It's a university with high employability ratio, meaning, again, we work with a lot of organizations. 94% of our students want to secure something once they graduate. And also, you do not require German as a language to actually learn in the classroom and so forth, because all the programs will be taught in English. So this provides the chance for students in their own time, maybe 1 to 2 hours on a weekly basis, they can learn German in their own time if they want to. But it is not necessary to actually have a German language proficiency in order to study with us. So since we are so confident that our students can get something once they complete their programs, we have this initiative going on called the UE Job Guarantee Program, whereby if at all you do not get a job within 12 months of graduation, we will give you a complimentary master's degree for free. So there's no cost to it. So of course, there are terms and conditions applied, but again, they're super confident that students will be able to actually secure something once they graduate with us, because that's our commitment to them. And as shared earlier, year 12 is the main qualification for a bachelor's degree. For the master's degree, you just require a bachelor's program. And of course, you have the other relative documents for the method to actually share over to the admissions team so that they are able to process the application and provide you with an admission offer. So ideally, just as how you were to apply to universities, as per usual, you need to provide your personal details, as in your passport copy, and also you need to provide the application form as well. You need to fill it up, and also your usual transcripts, your year 12 qualification, your latest qualifications for that matter, And since it's run in English, you need to provide some English proficiency language requirements, documentations like IELTS, Pearson's, TOEFLs, Duolingo. If you studied in English before, you are automatically qualified. You just have to do a free English exam, in which we'll share the link over. And in Germany, because of the education requirements, you are required to share a CV. CV is basically like similar to the resume, right? You need to show an up-to-date CV of what you are doing currently or what you have done before. Like, you'll be involved in projects or you'll be involved in activities. Just highlight that over at the CV and submit it over. If you have the work experience, that's fantastic. You just have to put it over. But what about students who do not have work experience? Do not worry. It's just a requirement to show that you have participated in certain curriculum activities or events or projects before. Just ensure that the CV has the latest date only. That's about it. So with the latest date, that's more than enough already for it to be qualified as a good CV. And also, you are required to write a 500-word to 800-word statement of purpose, a motivational letter. So motivational letter basically is just want to indicate to the university and to the embassy on the fact that the student is really interested to come over to Germany to study. So it's what you need to put in the motivation letter is basically why choose Germany, why choose UE, why this program, or what would you like to learn in this program, and what would be your plans after you study once you finish the program. That's about it. So with this, I think you can write a fair decent amount of 500 words. That's more than enough again for a motivation letter. And of course, there are for the bachelor's program in respectively, there's going to be a general knowledge test. It's for all, do not worry, it's online. 100% of the students were to pass. If at all one student don't pass, it's literally impossible to pass, to fail, sorry. It's literally impossible to fail against because it's a very much general knowledge kind of questions which are asked over, and students usually just, within the selected time frame, be able to pass, and that's about it. Arts and design side, for students who are interested in that, you are required to share portfolios. So portfolios basically consist of projects which you have done before, photographs you have taken, or drawings if you have done, illustrations you have done, or there's a story behind it. Just share those 15 to 20 pages will do. Don't worry again, all of these, as we move along, we have the team over here to guide all the potential students or to guide you to actually apply for us. So it's a step-by-step progression, but what's important is that if you choose UE, definitely you'll get a really good quality education, a fantastic higher education kind of opportunity, and basically really open doors for you once you finish your program over with us. Similar to the master's side as well, it's just that master's, you do not have a general knowledge test. That's about it, but the other relative details are similar too. So you just need to provide all of your respective documentations in place, and that's about it. And then you can move forward to applying with us, and then we'll provide you the admission letter, and then you can join us. We have 2 intakes on a yearly basis. It's on March and September. So we have 2 semesters on a yearly basis. So basically, like for instance, like a program, if it's 3 years, you have 6 semesters in total. 1 year is 2 semesters. If masters, 1 year, basically the duration of the program is 2 semesters. That's about it. All right. So highlighted here basically are the respective tuition fees of the programs. As you can see on the right hand side is basically the pricing of the entire cost of the student collect program is at 11,900 euros. Whereas on the bachelor side, it consists of 11,340 to 12,000 euros on a yearly basis. Do not worry, there will be selectively partial discounts, partial scholarships offered. And on the master's end, it comprises of 12,600 euros up until 13,188 euros. So what's interesting is that, again, there are partial scholarships provided. The MBA is a standalone program. It's at 17,500 euros respectively. So, but of course, as shared previously, along with the scholarship and also with the opportunities provided in other scholarship providers in the private and the public sector, students, I do believe they have the chance to actually get the education or basically pay the tuition fees at a more affordable level. Okay, so there we go. These are just the flow of the application procedure only. So what students will need to be mindful is, we need to know is just that provide the relative documentation. It's a process, it's a stage by stage. If everything is provided within a week itself, students will be able to get the admissions letter. But usually it takes time, like, you know, it's dependent on the completion of the documentations provided by the students. And then if the students conduct a bachelor's program, you need to do the admissions test and so forth. Do not worry, again, we are here to actually guide you and journey with you throughout the application process. So once all the required are provided and the test is done, or all the documentations are given, we will provide you an offer letter. And then with the offer letter, you can proceed to making a deposit payment. The reason behind the deposit payment is because it's for the visa purpose, because visa will require you, like students will require students to show that they are serious to study in Germany. And because of that, they need to show that, you know, they have invested already in some of the tuition fee. So you have a deposit for that. And then they'll provide you with the visa support letter and the admissions letter. With these two, this is where you are able to actually go forward to apply for the visa. So visa process is ideally more or less similar to how other countries are. It's just that there are a couple of additional documentations and additional processes required. Do not again worry about it, because we have all the consultants which are ready there to guide you on this. What you need to know as a student is that other than your admission letter, your personal details, all your documentations, you will need to actually open up a German block bank account. So what does it mean by a German block bank account? So the rule states that if at all you are a student studying over in Germany, you need a German block bank account. Meaning this bank account is a dedicated bank whereby you have put in at least a year worth of amount, selected amount. So this amount is about 10,332 euros. So you have put in that amount so that within 1 year while you are in Germany, your first year, you actually have something to manage yourself. So every month, the bank would release about 860 euros on a monthly basis for you to use. So you need to open that bank account. So basically, you cannot open it up in other local banks or any other banks outside of Germany for the matter. It must be a German bank account. So we have many banks, like such as Deutschland Bank and also Fintiba. So Fintiba is fantastic. So within 3 to 5 working days, you can actually open up the bank account. You can put in the respective amount, and then the amount will be there reserved and be issued on a monthly basis once you're over in Germany already. So that's one. Secondly, you will need a health insurance. So health insurance, you have public side and private side. You just have to take the private side. That's more than, public side. That's more than enough because it's about 30 euros a month. So while applying for the block bank account, you can actually apply for the insurance during that period. So while applying for it, then you can get both the documentations done, the block bank account and also the insurance coverage. That's about it. And then along with your motivational letter, language proficiency, proof that you actually made the payment already, you can just apply for the visa. Standard visa fee is 75 euros, but there are visa consultants out there, such as VFS. So VFS is like a visa consultant where sometimes we do use VFS, or sometimes students use VFS as an additional service, but it's 75 euros standard to actually apply for the visa. And once the visa is being applied, it will take probably about 21 days to 1 month, depending. So students would actually need to go through the interview with the personnel over at the embassy, and then they will need to go to the embassy as well to take their biometrics. That's about it. And then when they come over to Germany, they need to go to their respective embassy over there, the country's embassy over there, to report in within 2 weeks to state that, you know, they've arrived already. So it's a step-by-step procedure again, but it's quite straightforward. There isn't kind of confusing kind of technicalities around. Not to worry about it. So those are basically some of the general opportunities and also the brief introductory about UE Germany. And obviously, again, the team is there. I'm personally here to also guide and assist students to come over to Germany to study, also to come over to UE in particular to study. And that's about it when it comes to the sharing session with regards to UE and some details about Germany. So yeah, I guess we can actually open up to the question and answers there.
Yes, Ivan, we got quite a question, so I think I will help you to go through one by one.
For sure.
Yeah, I think because of the time restriction, because you have another appointment at 1, so we try to cover it as soon as possible.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, for the first question, I think you've covered this, but maybe you can just emphasize on it. For bachelor program direct entry, is it open for students coming from national high school, just SMA?
Yes, yes, correct. So as long as the qualification is year 12, right? We accept it already.
Okay. Okay. Next one is since my uncle will be paying my education and provide financial proof, is it allowed for visa application? So that
yes,
means from other family member.
Yes, yes, it's allowed. There's a process to it. It's allowed. So meaning that you just have to provide a bank statement on it to show that you have a sponsor. It is very much allowed.
Is it so just to prove the relationship, I think, between the sponsor?
Exactly. Exactly.
So as long as it's in the family, how about other people or other organization that would be?
It's similar as well. So you have it's considerably called like sponsorship. So if you do have somebody over there, there's a process to it, and you have somebody here sponsoring you, there's also like a process to it. But what's important is that as long as there's a statement to show that somebody or someone is, or an association is sponsoring you, that's more than enough for you.
That's great. Sure. Okay, next one. How about students comes with spouse and dependents? What are the requirements such as proof of fund?
So there are additional requirements for this. What's interesting is that the process is different for sure, but for the student itself or for the one person who will be studying, right, it's the same. So they will need to go to Germany first. So they need to study over there. They'll need to be there first, and then they will need to apply for their family members to come in. So entirely speaking, that there are more step-by-step procedures to it. Of course, yes. So definitely that's for like another session for sure.
Okay, so it is better to fly in first and then settle, then bring the family in.
Is the regulations, is the process. So they won't go together. The person who's going to study will go, the student who's going to study will go there first, will be there first. Okay,
clear. Next one, is there a minimum average academic assessment in each university? Is there any policy to pay tax for international students?
So yes, there is an average academic assessment, but over at UE, we do not have, like, let's just say a really high academic assessments kind of thing. So if at all you have grades which are considerably average, we do accept it. We do accept it because we believe that that doesn't define like the potential of the student. When the students were to come in, of course, the supporting factor is there to ensure that they pass.
Great. Next one, how is the opportunity to work in Germany with no or minimum ability to speak the language?
Almost all of the German citizens, they speak in English. Of course, they have their own German language as well. On a day-to-day basis, they speak to each other. Right? So the thing is, you do not need a German language requirement to actually work there or study over UE in particular. Maybe other universities you need, but over UE do not need it. But while working in certain places and all, of course, it's encouraged to actually study the language in your own time. Learn the language in your own time. When you go to a country, I'm very confident, I'm very sure that most of the students, if not all, will actually learn some words, some dialects. So because it's all about, it's all about learning about the culture and being part of the culture as well. So definitely there's opportunity for students to learn the language when they have the time, like 1 to 2 hours a week, they can learn on their own time. But it's not a must. It's not mandatory.
Yeah, so I think eventually you will actually pick up the language at the end of the day.
Yes, for sure,
but,
for sure.
But
yes,
as in for the school itself, do you actually, there's a support for the students who actually keen to learn the language, at least for a daily conversation?
Yes, we do have that, or we do have that in place over in the university. Unfortunately, it's only for limited space because almost all of the professors and all of the staff are dedicated for teaching the undergraduate and postgraduate program, also the student college, the foundation year. But there are so many language centers all across the campus, or all across Germany for the matter. So you can learn online, and you also can actually learn, go to the center to study. And when you speak to the local citizens who are studying over in Germany, studying over UE West, you definitely get the dialect already, for sure.
Yeah, I think as long as you can speak English, you will survive in German.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Okay, next questions. I think it's a bit, continuous questions. I missed the post-study work visa part. Sorry about that. So can you simply tell me how long is the post-study work visa for master degree or MBA for 1 year? And is there any difference if we are studying 1.5 years MBA, for example?
Okay, so there isn't any difference. So meaning once you've completed your program already, regardless the bachelor's or the master's, you are qualified for 1.5 years post-study work visa, 18 months. So you just have to apply for it. And when you are there, you can just apply for it, and you can live in the country for another additional 1.5 years. The purpose for this is for you to secure a job.
Yeah.
And once you get the full-time offer letter, you can stay already in the country.
That's great. The next question is the 3 semesters are only for local students?
So over at UE, there's only 2 semesters. It's for all students. In total, there's only 2 semesters in India.
Okay, this is the last one for now. I'm currently in between jobs and maybe not enough saving, therefore need scholarship, at least a partial one. So I need to apply grants from UE, correct?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so over at UE, we have the scholarships which are provided. The thing is, it can go up to 30% provided if at all the student has those grades. So if at all you meet those grades requirements, then we can provide like direct 30%. But other than that, we offer up to 10 to 15% of partial scholarship first. When students want to go there, if they do well, then they can get additional scholarships on a semester basis. So that is for students who got the 10 to 15% scholarship over here, before going to Germany, before coming to UE. While they are there, they have the additional opportunity to get more scholarships. And when they are there, they are actually able to apply for the respective public scholarship providers and also private scholarship providers as well, which are already there. So before going over there, I think when you were to search over online, there are quite some scholarship providers. You can actually try to apply for this, and you can just learn about it. I always encourage my students to do that, to just try it out. So I don't believe that it shouldn't be like a huge challenge. You should actually get that kinds of scholarship. But over at UE, basically, if you do not meet the specific grades, right, to qualify for the 30%, we offer 10 to 15% first, or the first year tuition fee. Yeah.
Okay. The next question. This question wasn't answered. How much actually the proof of fund needed for students, and then with spouse and dependents?
Okay. So for the proof of fund for student, right, is basically on the German block bank account. So the German block bank account, again, is where you need to open a pure German bank. You have to do it online when you're outside of Germany. So you just need to key in or put in the respective amount, 10,332 euros. So that would be the amount which is required for the block bank account and to be shown over at the visa, during the visa application side. So when it comes to spouse, And when it comes to, bringing in your family member over, so you would need like specific kinds of amount in which you have on a monthly basis. So on the working side, basically, like let's just say have about like minimum of 2,500 euros on a monthly basis, then you can actually sponsor your family member to come in. On the student side, you have additional documents which are required, and these documentations, the processes are quite there's additional kind of processes in place, so it will take longer. But what you need to know, what's important is that as long you as a student can study over in Germany, there's an opportunity for you to bring your family over. It's just that you have to go over there, and then all of the required processes must be done over there. So in a way, it cannot be done over here just yet. I mean, in the whole country, because typically you will need to settle your student visa first, or your, in this case, German visa for you to study over at either UE or any universities in Germany. Then when you go there, this is where you would need to actually provide certain proof that you can sustain your family on a monthly basis.
Is there any guidelines on the minimum required fund you have to put in the block system, the block
yes.
one?
So personally, for the student itself, is 10,332 euros per
person, per student.
Yes, per student.
Yeah.
For that one student. So that's the minimum required.
That's for 1 year, yeah, Ivan.
Yes, that's for 1 year. So block bank account, it wouldn't be the same as your usual bank account in which you'll be using over in Germany, because the block bank account is basically dedicated, whereby every month they will issue out the monthly kind of amount, about 860 plus euros, over to the bank account in which you use on a daily basis or on a monthly basis. So the block bank account basically is a statement or it's a place to show that you have the funds to sustain yourself on a monthly basis in Germany, at least for 1 year.
I see. So it's kind of like a lock fund that you cannot actually withdraw everything, but they release it every month for your daily spending. Yeah.
Yes, correct. For the monthly spending. Yes, correct.
Okay. So next question. I noticed that your Master of Psychology is being delivered in Germany. Is it not for international students?
So it is. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think you answer first because the next one is. So,
okay. So.
Or is it acceptable? I mean, like, do you accept international students for this?
For sure, yes, we do accept international students for it, provided that due to that certain programs which are taught in German, German proficiency is required. So you need to actually have the language proficiency. So if you have the language proficiency, you're qualified for it, and you can just join in as an international student. It is open for international students, but it's just that that program in particular, along with 2 to 3 other programs, are taught fully in German first.
And whether your psychology course is not allowing students to practice as psychologists. So I think the career outcome, can they actually practice after graduate?
So your psychology course is not allowing. No, okay. So yes, in Germany itself, yes, they have those. I think because again, psychology is something where you require certain certifications. Yes, it will be provided by the association because the program is accredited by professional associations already. So it will be accredited by the German association. Okay, so it's accredited, you will get those certifications. You can technically practice it over in Germany. But of course, I understand that every country works differently, right? Maybe certain countries, like for instance, over Indonesia, we will need to check to see whether do they accept like an accredited psychology degree or accredited psychology certification that enables the student to practice over in Indonesia, for example. So that you have to check in the local side, in the local association over in Indonesia.
Okay, I think just one last question I saw in the chat box.
Sure.
How's the chance for me to get scholarship, especially civil or law level? I mean, civil or law in the level of bachelor degree. Is that correct, Mike?
Yep. So yes, I mean, the scholarship is there for you to take. I mean, your chances are good to get that scholarship. But please do bear in mind, again, the scholarship is not full scholarship, it's partial scholarship again first. And the opportunities for you to get further scholarship is where you need to actually apply for private scholarship providers and public scholarship providers, which are usually available for international students to apply for. So over at the universities end, definitely we are committed to at least provide you 10 to 15% of first year scholarship, first year tuition fees. If you really do well, it can go up to 30%. And yes, you are very much qualified for it, for sure. Not to worry about it.
Okay, yeah, I think we've covered all the questions, Ivan, and I think the time is also up. I would like to say thank you once again for all the information today. For our attendees today, if you actually want to have one-on-one consultation with Ivan, let us know. You can book the appointment as well with one of our counselor. In the chat box, there's a link. Then you can actually just simply book the appointment and talk with us. Yeah, I think that's all. Thank you everyone for joining today. We hope that the information given by Ivan is inspire you to actually study in Germany. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. All right, looking forward to speak to you all soon. Okay, thank you.
Bye.